Alright, picture this: a glitzy ballroom in the heart of Manhattan, the kind of place where the chandeliers look like they're crying diamonds, and every table's got gold trim that costs more than my rent. It's the annual gala at the Sterling Heights Hotel, a playground for the city's elite. Think Wall Street sharks, tech bros with watches that scream, "I'm loaded," and women in dresses so expensive they could buy my childhood home twice over. And in the middle of all this, there's Ellie Carter, a waitress, barely noticed, moving through the crowd with a tray of champagne flutes, her plain black uniform sticking out like a smudge on a polished mirror. She's invisible, or so they think, until one guy, some hotshot named Marcus Vaughn, decides to make her the night's entertainment. "Hey, sweetheart," he calls out, loud enough to turn heads. "You ever even heard of dancing? Or is carrying trays your only trick?" The room laughs, a sharp, cutting sound, like glass shattering in slow motion, and I swear, you could feel the air get heavy. Now, Ellie's no stranger to this kind of crap. She's been working at Sterling Heights for 4 months, picking up shifts to keep the lights on after her life took a nosedive. She's got this quiet way about her, hair pulled back in a tight bun. No makeup, no fuss, just her, moving like she's part of the furniture. But earlier that night, her hands shook, not from nerves, never from nerves, but from something raw, something that cuts deep. She'd overheard a woman at table 12, some hedge fund queen with a laugh like nails on a chalkboard, whispering, "Look at her shoes. What? Did she dig those out of a dumpster?" Ellie kept walking, face blank, but her fingers gripped that tray so tight the metal bit into her palms. That was 2 hours ago. Now, Marcus is standing there, all 6'2" of him, custom suit, smug grin, his buddies egging him on. His girlfriend, Lauren, in a dress so tight it's practically a second skin, leans in, her voice dripping venom. "Go on, honey, show us a twirl if you even know how." The crowd snickers, and a guy in a velvet jacket, probably some crypto king, chimes in. "This ought to be good. Let's see." The help try to keep up. Ellie sets her tray down on a table, slow, deliberate, like she's placing a chess piece. The room gets quieter, and you can feel the weight of 100 pairs of eyes, waiting for her to trip, to scurry back to the kitchen where they think she belongs. Marcus pulls off one of his gloves. Yeah, he's that kind of extra, and tosses it at her feet, smirking. "Go on, show us what you got." Ellie picks up the glove, her movement smooth, too smooth for someone they're calling the help. She looks him dead in the eyes and says, soft but sharp, "If we're dancing, Marcus, you better keep up with me." A gasp ripples through the crowd. Who does this? Nobody thinks she is, talking to Marcus Vaughn like that. The orchestra, sensing blood in the water, starts up a waltz, the notes soft, tentative, like they're not sure what's coming. Now, let's back up a bit, because you need to know who Ellie is or was. Years ago, she was Eliza Kane, the dancer they called Nightbird, lighting up stages from Paris to Tokyo. She was 16, practicing in a studio with cracked mirrors, her coach screaming, "You're not just moving, you're telling the world who you are." She won competitions, her name in headlines, her face on posters. Nightbird, fierce, graceful, untouchable. But then her world broke. Her mom, her rock, got sick, cancer, fast and brutal. Ellie quit dancing, sat by her hospital bed for months, holding her hand as the machines beeped. When her mom passed, the stage felt like a graveyard. Ellie walked away, took this waitressing gig to keep the world at arm's length. Nobody at Sterling Heights knew. Nobody cared to ask. Back to the ballroom. Ellie steps onto the dance floor, her plain black flats clicking on the marble. Marcus, still grinning, grabs her hand, spins her hard, trying to throw her off. Lauren claps, laughing. "Oh, she's gonna fall flat on her face." The crypto bro shouts, "This is better than comedy night." But Ellie's not falling. Her eyes close for a split second, like she's remembering something, and then she moves. Her feet find the rhythm like they were born for it, her body swaying, fluid, like she's pulling the music into her bones. The laughter dies. A waiter, some kid named Tommy, freezes near the bar, his tray shaking. He'd seen Ellie in the break room earlier, sharing her coffee when he forgot his. Now he's watching her dance, his jaw on the floor. A woman in a fur shawl nudges her friend, her voice sharp. She's making a fool of herself, right? But her friend doesn't answer, just stares, her brow creasing like she's not so sure anymore. Marcus tries to lead, his steps aggressive, but Ellie's done following. She shifts her weight, her hand guiding his, and suddenly she's leading him. The room goes dead quiet, just the soft scrape of her shoes and the waltz's gentle swell. Marcus's smirk vanishes, his eyes wide like he's stepped into quicksand. Ellie's movements are sharp, precise, her body bending with a grace that doesn't belong in that uniform. Lauren's hands freeze mid-clap, her mouth open. A woman in a silver gown whispers, "Who is she?" The question hangs, unanswered, but the air's shifting, the room tilting. An older guy, tie crooked, stands at the edge of the crowd, his hands behind his back. He's a retired choreographer, saw Eliza Kane dance in London years ago. His eyes narrow, and he mutters to the woman next to him, "That's no Waitress. That's Nightbird." The woman gasps, her hand to her mouth, and the name starts spreading. Nightbird, the dancer who vanished. Lauren's not done. She slips the conductor 100, hisses, "Play something harder, a tango. Make her crash." The music shifts, sharp, demanding, a tango that could trip up a pro. Marcus smirks again, thinking he's got her. But Ellie's chest rises, her breath steady, her eyes flashing with something alive, something fierce. When the tango hits, she moves her body slicing through the air, her steps so sharp they could cut glass. Marcus stumbles, a shadow to her fire, and the crowd gasps, then erupts, clapping so loud it drowns the orchestra. A dancer in the back, some guy with a goatee and a skeptical squint, leans forward, whispering, "That's Nightbird, no question." The name races through the room, a wildfire. A journalist, notepad shaking in her hands, scribbles furiously. She came for boring speeches, but this is gold. Her colleague's camera clicks nonstop, muttering, "This is going viral." Not everyone's on board. A guy in a pinstriped suit, sloshed on wine, shouts, "She's just showing off." His voice cracks, desperate to claw back control. Ellie's eyes flick to him, just for a second, and that look stops him cold. Lauren screams, "No way, she's Nightbird, she's a nobody." But the crowd's not listening. They're on their feet, some crying, some cheering. Ellie doesn't hear them. She's lost in the music, her body answering its call. Then Marcus, panting, red-faced, steps back. "Fine," he sneers, wiping his brow. "Dance alone if you're so great." He leaves her in the spotlight, thinking she'll crack. Ellie nods once, calm, serene, and steps forward. The orchestra shifts to a haunting melody, strings and piano, like it was written for her. She leaps, her body arcing, landing with a precision that makes the floor seem alive. She spins, part ballet, part jazz, part something raw, like the streets taught her as much as the stage. The crowd's roaring now, but Lauren's face is white, her lips trembling. A server, Maria, gray streaks in her hair, watches from the kitchen doors, her hands clasped tight. She'd trained Ellie on her first day, shown her how to stack plates. Now her eyes are wet, her lips trembling. She'd heard rumors about Ellie's past, but never believed them until now. A guest near her, some guy with a silk scarf, mutters, "This is a stunt." Maria snaps, "You don't know what you're talking about," her voice low, fierce. The cheers swallow his reply. Then the doors swing open, and a man walks in tall, quiet, his suit simple but heavy with presence. It's James Carter, Ellie's husband, a name that makes even these elites pause. He doesn't look at Marcus or Lauren. He walks to Ellie, his hand brushing her elbow, a gesture that says everything. The crowd parts, some looking away, others stepping back. Lauren's face goes paler. Marcus clears his throat, but nothing comes out. Ellie stands there, her husband at her side, her silence louder than any speech. The fallout's brutal. Marcus's company puts out a statement the next day he's taking a break from public life. A week later, he's out as CEO, the board citing conduct issues. Lauren's social media, once all glitz and smug captions, goes dark after a clip of her yelling at Ellie hits millions of views. The crypto bro? His startup tanks when investors see him laughing on the live stream. The woman from Table 12 stops getting gala, invites her friends, don't say why, but they don't need to. Ellie doesn't stick around to watch. She leaves that night, her apron folded on the table, walking out with James, her steps light but firm. The cameras follow, but she doesn't look back. Here's the kicker: the hotel owner, Mr. Grayson, steps forward before she leaves. Ellie Carter, he says, his voice cutting through the noise, is our new artistic director. The screen behind him lights up old footage of Eliza Kane, Nightbird, spinning under stage lights, winning gold. The crowd loses it, phones out, recording. Ellie doesn't react, just stands there, serene, her hands clasped. But later, at her desk, she's sketching stages, planning the next event, the Nightbird still alive in her, waiting. She didn't dance for them that night, she danced for herself, for the girl who lost her mom, who thought she'd buried her fire. And maybe, just maybe, for all of us who've been looked down on, judged, pushed aside. So what do you think? Was Ellie wrong to stay quiet? To let them mock her before she showed them up? Or was that silence her power, her way of winning without a word? Drop a comment. Tell me your take. Have you ever been underestimated like that? Had to prove someone wrong? Hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe because stories like Ellie's, they remind us who we are and who we can be. Where are you watching from? Let me know below.